Okay, hear me out. Eriana's vow and Athrys' embrace. Let's get to it. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am Fasa the Silver Chimera, and I've returned with another Destiny 2 build. In this episode, we're using the Hunter class, and the first piece of the puzzle is the exotic hand cannon Eriana's Vow. I've always loved this gun. I think it looks super cool, and it's always been fun to use. The intrinsic trait is looks can kill. This weapon fires special shield-piercing ammunition, it comes with a scope, and it is strong against barrier champions. Already, we're seeing some use due to the built-in anti-barrier capabilities, which is great because I hate barrier champions. I hate them and everything they love. The second trait on this weapon is death at first glance. Bonus damage when aiming down sights on the opening shot of an attack. This bonus is preserved if the shot deals precision damage or strikes an elemental shield. The bonus damage is 32.5, I believe, and that's pretty good if you ask me. Plus, we're going to be adding even more on top of that, so stay tuned. The final perk comes from the catalyst. It's called More to Give, which increases the magazine size, and when you holster the weapon, it automatically reloads. So, who doesn't love more ammo and autoloading holster, right? Moving over to the armor, we're using the exotic gauntlets, Athrys' Embrace. These come with the exotic perk, Skittering Stinger. Weighted Knife gains a second bounce. Rapid precision hits with your weapons grant Weighted Knife a significant damage bonus. Bonus strength, and the ability to stun unshielded combatants for a short time. Empowered Weighted Knife is strong against unstoppable champions. I love these gauntlets, although I don't see them brought up a lot, so I think I should just take a second and break these down a bit more. After hitting 3 precision hits, you get Strengthened Weighted Knife, and more precision hits can extend that timer to 30 seconds. While the perk is active, your throwing knife does 200% more damage and grants you 50 to your strength stat, and you can stun unstoppables. So why does no one use these? I mean, am I wrong? Hunter mains, please tell me your thoughts on these exotics. Do you use them? Are they popular? I don't see them a lot, so please inform me in the comment section below. And hopping over to the subclass, we're using Solar, and you can use any super you'd like. Personally, I like Blade Barrage because it has that razzle dazzle, if you know what I mean. We're using the Gambler's Dodge to get our melee back just in case we miss. My aim is terrible, so if you're a better shot than me, feel free to switch this up. For our melee, we gotta rock the Weighted Knife because of the exotic gauntlets. Here's some fun facts about the Weighted Knife. It deals precision damage, causes scorched targets to ignite, and final blows with this knife immediately recharge your class ability. All of those things will come into play in just a sec, trust me. And I recommend using the Healing Grenade for a touch of survivability and to kickstart restoration. For the aspects, we're using Knock 'em Down. Your solar supers are enhanced, so I'm using blades, which means I throw even more blades. And while radiant, final blows with your equipped throwing knife fully refund your melee energy. So with this aspect, we're able to throw super hard-hitting juiced up knives perpetually. The second aspect is Gunpowder Gamble. Defeat targets with solar abilities, solar debuffs, or solar weapons to charge up an improvised solar explosive. I like using this aspect because I'm addicted to ignitions, and sometimes I play video games to have fun, and nothing gives the joy like yeeting this bitch into a crowd and hitting it midair from the hip. Oh yeah, that's the good stuff, baby. Next up is Fragments, and the first is Ember of Torches. Powered melee attacks against combatants make you and nearby allies radiant. This fits in nicely because this is a very melee heavy build, and radiant will trigger a lot of bonuses for us. The next fragment is Ember of Empyrean. Solar weapons or ability final blows extend the duration of restoration and radiant effects applied to you. So once you get radiant, you keep radiant. And whenever you're in a pinch, you can throw your healing grenade and keep restoration going as well. So all very useful, no notes, moving on. Ember of Char, your solar ignition spread scorch to affected targets. We'll be making a lot of ignitions, and any stragglers will get scorched, meaning that the throwing knife will cause them to ignite again, which now that I think about it, that will make more stuff get scorched, and if you throw a knife at that, then there'll be another ignition making more scorched targets, and that will, what was I talking about again? The final fragment is Ember of Ashes. You apply more scorched stacks to targets. This just leads to more ignitions, and that's always a good thing. As a side note, you could sub in Ember of Eruption to increase the size of your ignitions and get plus 10 to your strength stat, but that's up to you. With our subclass all set, let's look at the seasonal artifact to put some finishing touches on. The mods you need for this build are Kindling Trigger. Radiant causes solar weapons to apply Scorch to unscorched targets. We're going to be Radiant all the time, and now Eriana's Vow can apply 30 stacks to anything we hit. Or if you include the fragment, it's you add another 15 to that, so 45. Anyway, it leads to even more glorious ignitions. The next mod is Flint Striker. Rapid solar weapon precision hits and rapid solar weapon final blows grant radiant. This works in our favor due to Eriana being kind of a pocket sniper, which lets us become radiant from a distance if we need to. Next up is Revitalizing Blast. Causing damage with a solar ability weakens champions and bosses for a short duration. We'll be throwing a bunch of knives, and now they can weaken champions. So they do 200% more damage, cause ignitions, counter unstoppables, and now bosses and champions take 15% more damage. Again, why does no one talk about these arms? Last, but certainly not least, is Ray of Precision. While radiant, solar precision final blows cause combatants to ignite. And this is why I wanted to use Eriana's in the first place. You can 1 or 2 tap most adds anyway. So when you do that, now they just explode. And for the chunky enemies, if you land that vital headshot at the end, they're just tiny nukes. What's not to love? As for the normal armor mods, on the head, I recommend Special Ammo Finder, Hands-On, and whatever kind of siphon mod that works for you. Maybe a strand siphon if you can make it work. Personally, I run Harmonic because I've been using this Fatebringer with Osmosis, so it counts as a slow weapon every time I throw a healing grenade. Or Gunpowder Gamble. Tell me in the comments below what you plan on running with this. Moving down to the arms, we want Heavy-Handed for more orbs, Momentum Transfer to help us get our healing grenade back when we throw it, and Focusing Strike for more class ability. On the chest, I'd recommend Charged Up, so we have more armor charges to use, and Reserve mods for Eriana. I have a tendency to chew through a lot of ammo because it's really fun to blow stuff up with one shot. On our legs, we're using 2 stacks of Weapon Solar Surge for more damage, and I use a single recuperation mod for a little bit more survivability, because we're making a lot of orbs anyway, right? Finally, on the cloak, Reaper for even more orbs, and Time Dilation to increase the uptime on our Solar Surges. So that's all the normal armor mods. Like always, I'd like to remind everyone, feel free to change things around and experiment with all the pieces here until it fits your playstyle. Now, the most important thing is fashion. This is the outfit I came up with, and I really dig it. I went for a rugged space bounty hunter gunslinger type of thing, and I think it works. I was inspired because the gauntlets have this really cool ornament that makes them look more high-tech and armored instead of the buggy, chitin-y look. I used the Horizon Beyond shader to give it kind of a darker tone, but I wanted to avoid black. Overall, I think this outfit is pretty cool. And it looks really cool when you have Eriana's in your hand. Tell me what you think in the comment section below. And I wonder if there's a different version of the outfit where I kind of focus on the bug part. You know, maybe I'll experiment with that later. We're coming up on the end, so I just want to say my final thoughts. I think the build is really fun. It's flashy, which that's the whole point of being a hunter, right? Quick headshots, nasty knife flicks leading to your enemies exploding with solar fire. It melts everything from red bars to champions, and once it gets going, I feel it's easy to maintain. As always, I must name the build, and I think I'm going with Deathly Sting, because with a quick look and a flick of the wrist, everything burns. And that's about it. I'm Fasa the Silver Chimera, and I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, consider leaving a like and subscribing. If you want to keep track of my future videos, ring my bell, please. If you want to talk to me, I'll be in the comment section below. Talk to me about the build. Talk to me about what kind of build you want me to do next. If you don't know what to say, how about everything burns? That makes sense, right? Once again, I am Fasa the Silver Chimera, and I hope you're having a good day. And I will see all of you beautiful people next time.